My son told me I was not welcome at his wedding 4 days before I was supposed to watch him get married. There was no lost invitation and no misunderstanding. Jason called me himself and said, "Mom, I think it would be better if you didn't come." Then he added the part that hurt even more. He said his fiancée's family wanted a peaceful, drama-free day, and apparently I was the person everyone was worried about. I did not yell or beg him to change his mind. I only asked, "Does Olivia know you're telling me this?" There was a pause long enough for me to understand that whatever came next would not be the whole truth. Then he said, "Please don't make this harder than it already is." So I told my only son I hoped he had a beautiful wedding, hung the navy dress I had bought back in my closet, and stayed home while he married the woman he loved. Just before midnight, my phone rang. It was Olivia's mother. The first thing Diane said was, "Linda, I need you to tell me the truth. Why weren't you at your son's wedding?" That was when I realized Jason had told everyone a completely different story. My name is Linda, and I am 57. Jason is 31, and for most of his childhood it was just the two of us. His father left when Jason was 7, but I never wanted my son to feel like he owed me for staying. I worked, paid the bills, showed up for school plays and baseball games, and answered every late-night college call when some small disaster felt like the end of the world. We were close, or at least I thought we were. When he met Olivia, I was genuinely happy for him. She was smart, polished, and came from a family much wealthier than ours. I expected to feel out of place around them, but her mother, Diane, was warm from the beginning. She remembered that I liked gardening and once called just to ask what flowers Jason had loved as a child because Olivia wanted something meaningful at the wedding. The problem began with Jason. After the engagement, he started correcting little things about me. He asked me not to tell childhood stories around Olivia's friends because they were kind of embarrassing. He suggested I buy something more formal for the rehearsal dinner, even after approving the dress I had chosen. One evening, I brought my homemade apple pie to Diane's house because Jason had loved it since he was a boy. Olivia ate 2 slices and asked for the recipe. On the drive home, Jason told me I did not have to keep bringing small-town stuff to their events. That was the first time I understood he was more embarrassed by me than anyone in Olivia's family had ever been. Still, I told myself he was under wedding stress. 2 weeks before the wedding, Jason asked me not to attend the rehearsal dinner. He said Olivia wanted the evening limited to the wedding party and immediate family. I almost pointed out that the groom's mother was immediate family, but I let it go. Then, 4 days before the ceremony, he called again. His voice sounded careful, almost rehearsed. He said there had been tension between Olivia and me, even though Olivia and I had never had an argument. Then he claimed Diane was worried I might become emotional during the ceremony or say something at the reception that would make Olivia uncomfortable. I sat at my kitchen table staring at the wedding invitation on my refrigerator and asked, "Are you telling me Olivia's mother does not want me at your wedding?" Jason said, "It's not just her. Everyone thinks this is best." Everyone. It made me imagine conversations happening in rooms where I was not present. People quietly agreeing that the easiest way to make my son's wedding beautiful was to remove me from it. I asked once more if Olivia knew he was telling me not to come. Jason did not answer directly. He said he loved me and hoped I could understand. I understood enough. If I forced my way into that wedding, every tear or nervous smile could become proof that he had been right to worry about me. So I told him I would stay home. Saturday morning, I woke before 6 and saw the navy dress hanging on the wardrobe door. I made coffee, turned my phone face down, and spent the morning cleaning things that were already clean. Around 2 o'clock, when I knew the ceremony was starting, I sat in my backyard and remembered Jason at 6 years old, wearing a towel like a cape and promising he would buy me a castle when he grew up. My sister Carol was at the wedding as his aunt. She texted, "Are you okay?" I replied, "Please enjoy his day. Don't make this about me." What I did not know was that Jason had told the wedding guests a very different story. During the reception, Diane noticed my absence and asked where I was. Jason told her I had decided not to attend because I had never fully supported the marriage. Later, during his speech, he thanked Olivia's parents, her friends, his college roommate, and several people who had helped with the wedding. Then he said, "I wish my mother could have been here, but unfortunately she decided today was not something she wanted to be part of." Carol nearly stood up. Instead, she waited until the speech ended, pulled Diane aside and said, "Linda didn't choose to miss this wedding. Jason told her not to come." That was why Diane called me just before midnight. I almost protected Jason out of habit, but Diane stopped me. "Linda, please, your son told us you refused to come." So I told her everything. I told her Jason said she was worried I would become emotional. I told her he said everyone agreed I should stay home. Diane went quiet. Then she said, "I never said any of that." She told me she had actually asked Jason whether I needed help with transportation, whether I wanted to join the morning preparations, and whether I might like to say a few words at the reception. Each time, Jason told her I preferred distance. Then she said, "Olivia thought you didn't approve of her. Jason told her you were refusing to attend because you couldn't accept that he was joining another family." Suddenly, months of awkward moments made sense. There had never been a conflict between Olivia and me. Jason had been telling each side a different story. For a few seconds, I could not speak. Jason wanted Olivia's family to believe I was distant, and he wanted me to believe they were uncomfortable with me. Diane apologized even though she had done nothing wrong. Then she said, "This cannot become the version of the story everyone remembers." That was the first moment all day when I felt like someone was standing beside me instead of asking me to disappear. If you have ever been made to feel like the problem because someone else was afraid to tell the truth, subscribe to Real Stories of Women. Sometimes family betrayal is not loud. Sometimes it survives only because nobody asks what really happened. The next morning, there was a family brunch at Diane and Robert's house before Jason and Olivia were supposed to leave for their honeymoon. I was not there, but Carol was. Diane called me afterward. She said she waited until everyone was seated, then looked directly at Jason and said, "Before anyone leaves, something needs to be corrected. Linda did not refuse to attend this wedding. She was told not to come." Jason immediately said it was complicated. Diane answered, "You told your mother that my family wanted her gone. You told Olivia that your mother rejected her. Yesterday, you stood in front of everyone and said Linda chose not to attend. None of those things were true." Olivia turned toward Jason and asked, "You told your mother I didn't want her there." He said he had been trying to prevent conflict. Olivia asked, "What conflict?" Jason could not answer. That was when the story he had built finally collapsed. There had never been a problem between two families. The problem was Jason's fear that the mother who raised him did not fit the image he wanted to present to his new life. Olivia asked why he had lied to her for months. Robert asked why he had used their family as an excuse to exclude his own mother. Diane told everyone clearly that my absence from the wedding had not been my choice. Olivia was furious, not only because I had missed the ceremony, but because Jason had started their marriage by making her part of a lie she did not even know existed. Jason came to my house that afternoon. He still had his wedding ring shining on his hand. I opened the door but did not immediately invite him inside. He looked exhausted. "Mom, I messed up," he said. I told him that was true. He admitted he had worried I would feel uncomfortable around Olivia's family, that Olivia would notice I was different from her parents, and that something awkward might happen during the speeches or photographs. None of those problems had actually existed. Instead of trusting me, he removed me. Then he lied because admitting what he had done made him look cruel. He said, "I thought after the wedding we could just move past it." I asked what exactly he expected me to move past. Missing the ceremony, missing the mother-son dance, not being in a single family photograph from my only child's wedding, or hearing that he had stood in front of a room full of people and blamed my absence on me. Jason started crying. I did not. He apologized and asked if he and Olivia could come over after their honeymoon so we could start again. I told him, "An apology does not erase a consequence." I told him I loved him and hoped his marriage would be happy, but he had changed our relationship, and he did not get to decide how quickly I trusted him again. Then I said the sentence that finally made him look at me instead of the floor. "You didn't forget to invite me, Jason." "You decided I was disposable." He had no answer. Olivia called me 2 days later. She apologized for believing what Jason had told her without ever asking me directly. She said they had postponed part of their honeymoon because they had a bigger problem to deal with than travel. She told Jason she could not begin a marriage pretending that lying to avoid uncomfortable conversations was normal. Diane also sent a message to the immediate family, making it clear that my absence from the wedding had not been my choice. I did not ask her to do it, but I was grateful. For once, I did not have to defend myself. The truth came out because one person finally asked a simple question and refused to accept an answer that did not make sense. Several months have passed. Jason and I speak, but not every day. He has started counseling, and he has apologized more than once without asking me to reassure him afterward. Olivia and I are slowly building our own relationship. Deanne and I occasionally have coffee. The wedding photographs still hurt when I see them. There is no version of that day where I suddenly appear beside my son, and some consequences cannot be repaired. They can only be understood. But I no longer look at that empty space in the pictures and wonder whether I should have fought harder to be there. When the truth finally came out, I did not need to crash the reception or beg anyone to believe me. I simply told the truth when someone finally cared enough to ask.